Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous session, we have discussed about relations and functions. Relations we discussed in one session and functions I started in the other session where I discussed the definition of functions and the types of functions, right? After that, we did problems on that. If you have missed anything in this, please go back and check the videos where we have done everything. All the explanation is given and we have done problems also on that. And composition function also we have completed, done with the problems. In today's session, I'll be doing inverse function. Okay, inverse functions, problems related to that, and binary operation. Let's start this session. Relations and functions. In that today's session, we are starting with the topic inverse function. Inverse function means, as I told, the function will be from set A to set B. Okay, normal function if I take, it will be from set A to set B. One second. So if you have taken two sets, this is set A, other set is B, and the function what you have taken here is F. Okay, it is taken as a F. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D are there. E. If one is related to A, one is related to B, C3 is related to C, 2 is related to D, 4 is related to E, and 5 is also related to E. Okay, suppose this is a function what you have taken. If I am taking the function from A to B, that is just a function what I am describing from A to B. If it is an invertible, if I tell it is an invertible, if inverse exists, then it has to be from B to A. The other way we are discussing. Okay, from this set to the other set it has to be. Now see, in function we have discussed two conditions. One is all the elements of the set A has to be mapped. Second condition is there should not be a double mapping from that side. Okay, so when you are talking, see, this is not a function. A is related to, one is related to A, one is related to B. This is wrong what I have taken. So take off this. One element should go to one element. One is related to A, two is related to B. I'll make it simple. 3 is related to C, 4 is related to E, and 5 is also related to E. Okay. So this is a function according to the definition it satisfies. Suppose I take the reverse of this from set B to set A. Suppose I take the function like this from set B to A. Same mapping I am showing that side also. A, B, C, D and E. And this side we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now see, A is related to 1. So A is related to 1. B is related to 2. C is related to 3 and D is not related. E is related to the element 4 and 5. If I take like this is G. Okay. Suppose this is G. If I have taken from set B to set A, then what happens? According to the definition, each and every element of the first set has to be mapped. Now leave about A and B. Okay, anyway we can take from this set to the other set. When you are doing, the mapping is from B to A. So all the restrictions comes to B now. Okay, all the restrictions comes to set B. Each and every element has to be mapped, correct? And there should not be any double mapping. See here, D is not mapped to any element. So first condition is gone, and E is double mapped. That is also there. So it is not a function. G is not a function because it is not according to the definition. Both the rules are not followed in this. So it is not a function. But when you are talking about the inverse function, when it can be inverse function? Not all the function. By seeing this example, you can easily tell that not all the function can be inverse function, correct? This is a function, of course, but if you reverse that, it is not a function. Why is that so? because it is not satisfying the condition what function has. So what should I do? What should I do so that I'll get all the functions inverted the other way? If I map, that has to be a function. What should I do? What is the restriction then? If I restrict, the function has to be 1 function and onto function. Okay, if I restrict that, the function has to be, if I put the condition that the function has to be 1 function and onto function, then this problem won't be there. Okay, if I tell that as a 1 then this E is mapped to 2 different elements. No, that won't be there. Correct? If I tell it as a onto, then range and codomain has to be same. See, if you see this mapping, forget about this now. If you see this mapping, is this a 1 No. If this is a 1 then the problem won't be there. Because D is sitting as it is without a mapping, that problem won't be there. If this mapping is not here, and if I tell this 4 is related to D. So properly each and every element of A is mapped to different elements of B. That is 1. Now that problem is solved. That now D is also engaged. Now onto function. If range and codomain are equal, then double mapping will not come only. Okay, and all the elements of A will be mapped. All the elements of first set will be mapped with the other set. Then this D is sitting simply. No, that won't be there. Okay, that is why when you talk about inverse function, that function has to be 1 function and onto function. In short, I can tell that it has to be bijective function. Okay, remember this, because only for the bijective functions we can find inverse. Got it? You have to remember this, because the same thing will come again in the inverse trigonometric functions. So the bijective functions only can have inverse. So that's why it is there if there exists. If there exists means all the function will not have its inverse. Okay, all the function will not get its inverse. The functions who are bijective, only those functions are having the inverse. Okay, now come to the condition. If it is an invertible function, if it has an inverse, if it is an inverse function, then the condition is this. How it will be? F composition G, composition function we have studied. So G composition F is taken as a IA, and F composition G will be IB. I is the identity function. Okay, so this is a condition you have to remember. If you are telling, if you are proving any, if you are finding any inverse function, then you have to see this one. Okay, if you are finding inverse also, you have to take G composition F and F composition G you have to find out, and both has to be some identity function. Then only you can get the inverse. See, AI and AB are identity functions under F and G respectively. The function G is called the inverse of F. Then we call G as the inverse of F, and that can be denoted like this. Instead of writing G, you can write F inverse. Got it? So what is inverse? What is inverse? G is called as the inverse function when you have the mapping the other way. So from set B to set A will be the mapping such that G composition F and F composition G both are giving you identity function. Okay. Now we have theorem on this. Let's see the theorem. Theorem 1 you have. Very simple proofs are there, not lengthy one. They may ask you for 2 marks, or it is important to understand also. So result is important. Okay. Theorem 1 you have like this. If F is from X to Y, be an invertible function. What is the meaning of this? Invertible function means bijective function. It has to be bijective. Remember that. When the function is 1, 1 and onto, such function you are considering. Okay. Then F has a unique inverse. There will be only one inverse for one function. One function, only one inverse will be there. So I have to prove this means what will I do? I will consider 2 inverse. Okay. I have to prove that as a unique inverse means I will consider two inverse and I'll show that both the inverse are same. That is what I can do. So what I am doing, if we are inverted function, I am considering two inverse, that is G1 and G2. G1 and G2 are the inverses what we are taking here of the function. Then according to the definition we have seen this F composition G1 and F composition G2 I have to consider both as a identity function I have to take. Okay. So if I have taken F composition G1 as a IY and F composition G2 as a IY, because that is what the set B is IB is there, no? Instead of B I have to take Y. Okay. And according to the definition both are equal, RHS are equal means LHS will be there, LHS are equal. So I can take F composition G1 of X is equal to F composition G2 of X. Now what will I do? By using the definition of composition, I'll take off the composition symbol and I'll write bracket there. Correct? So F of G1 of X, that is equal to F of G2 of X will be there. If you take the function from both the sides, then I'll get G1 of X is equal to G2 of X. Okay, G1 of X is equal to G2 of X is nothing but G1 is equal to G2. What were G1 and G2? They were inverse of the same function. That means there are not two different inverse, there is only one inverse. If you consider two inverse also, they are coming same. That is how we have proved it. By using general only you can prove, not any particular example. So did you understand this? They may ask you. So remember, otherwise also remember the result. So there is only one inverse. Theorem 2. Theorem 2 says that F is from X to Y. F is a function from X to Y which we can invert. Okay, which has an inverse. Then F is equal to F inverse whole inverse. This might be considered as a problem also. Actually this is a theorem. F is equal to F inverse whole inverse it has to be. I have to prove this. F is equal to F inverse whole inverse means what will I do? I'll take F as an invertible function, then according to the definition of inverse I'll write this. F composition G is identity and G composition F is also identity function, right? Both are identity function. See, there exists one G function and such that F composition G and G composition F both are giving you identity function. Okay, then if we know that you are getting one inverse there, then I can write it as G is equal to F inverse, correct? Because G is what I am getting here. F is a function, suppose it is from X to Y. According to the definition, I am getting one function where I am taking the mapping from Y to X. And since that is satisfying this condition, F composition G and G composition F, I can write that this G is nothing but inverse of F, correct? So that is the inverse of F. And if you take the other way also, G composition F and F composition G both are giving you identity element, identity function, correct? So G composition F and F composition G both are giving you identity function means what I can write? Now F is equal to G inverse. Correct? F is the inverse of G I can write. So here I am telling G is the inverse of F. Here I am telling F is the inverse of G. Both I am combining means I can write F is equal to, instead of G, substitute that F inverse. Okay. Already I have got that. I have to substitute that from equation 1. I get it. So F in the place of G, if I substitute F inverse, then I have the result. Okay. F is equal to F inverse whole inverse will come when you take that. Got it? This is the second theorem. Next we'll see third one. Third one is important. The result is also important to remember. Result says G composition F inverse, that is equal to F inverse composition G inverse. You have to remember the result also. Before that, see the statement.